Happy Saturday and welcome back to Read Becca. So this weekend I'm planning to get a lot of reading done. You can't really tell because it still looks very bright over here, but it's actually completely overcast and we just broke out of a storm. So there was thunder and lightning going on. I decided to try and get in between the break in weather here because we are supposed to get more storms throughout the entire weekend. So that means great for reading for me. So let's run through what I've got going on book-wise. This weekend, Our Fantasy is hosting a Our Fantasy bingo related readathon. Not really any challenges or anything, just like hourly or bi-hourly check-ins of what you're reading and how you're progressing. So that's always fun. They started doing that this year, and so I'm trying to keep up on that. So I have made a ton of progress. My midweek reading was not that great, but I've already read several hundred pages this weekend alone, so I'm doing wonderful, and it's before noon still, so lots yet to come. So first up, my romance project. I've got my several books, and we will wrap these up separately. So I'm almost done with A Mistletoe Vow to Lord Lovell. I've got about 30 pages. I read almost 200 pages this morning, so really good progress on that. I finished Christmas by Accident by Wright, and I finished Christmas Eve at Friday Harbor by Lisa Kleypas, and we will, as I said, wrap those up together for my Christmas in July reading project, and I will tell you what I think there. So other than those, I also finished The Night Diary by Veera Hirandani, and this one is a Newbery Award medal. So I picked that one up and kind of it disappeared for like a month. So I've had it for quite a while and had several renewals on it, but I really enjoyed it. This talks about the partition of India and Pakistan, and it's all from a little girl's perspective. So this is a middle grade. And it's told in an epistolary format where she's writing letters to her mother, who died in childbirth with her. Nisha is the primary character, and her brother Emil. And so it's them with their single father and their grandmother, and we start with things being kind of normal, but they're just a little bit off, and things are increasingly becoming contentious between Hindus and Muslims. And in their situation, their parents were Hindu and Muslim, so now they're having to leave their home because of the religion of their father, and they're not knowing what to do. It's kind of a secret because they could be targeted for attacks. So we're seeing Nisha kind of grapple with not really understanding that and writing these letters to her mother. What I enjoyed so much of this is the richness of the description. So from the beginning, when things are still sort of normal, there is just very in-depth discussion of the food and the smells and the fabrics, and it really comes alive on the page, and that is so wonderful. And then they have to leave their home in order to obviously travel to the new place where they're going to live, and it becomes this very harrowing journey, and they struggle to survive over 100 miles of walking, basically. And that was really difficult to read, and I think overall the tone of this is so serious throughout. It really didn't strike me as being correct for the age level. So there's really very dense writing and not quite age-appropriate characterization to me. So that was the one thing that didn't hold up to me. But overall, this was a really amazing book. I really loved it. So highly recommend The Night Diary by Veera Hirandani. Then, in terms of stuff I've had ongoing and stuff I've picked up, I haven't really made a ton of progress on my stuff I was working on. The Shadow of the Wind, I'm up to about 285 pages, and I'm trying to progress this at about 50 pages a weekend. So that is my project for this afternoon. And then I also started this morning Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom by Cory Doctorow. And this one is it's just a novella, and it's my BookTube Spin 3 pick, number 1, because we have 2 picks. So this one I wanted to get done this month, and the next one is on my August TBR. So this is near future sci-fi. It was written in the early 2000s, so it's maybe a little dated, and it kind of has some Rule of Cool stuff to it, where these futuristic folks who have overcome death by backing up their memories and downloading them into clones, basically. They are living at and running Disney World. So that's the setting for this. So essentially our primary character has been killed and now rebooted himself and is trying to figure out who it was that killed him and why. So it's an interesting premise. It's definitely moving along at a clip, and I'm about 60 pages into a 200-page novella in just this morning, so I think I will be able to finish this either today or tomorrow. Then let's get into stuff I picked up. So I only picked up 2 things, and they're small. So I spotted To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers, and I have really wanted to read some of Becky Chambers' solo work and haven't. I'm terrible for not having read the Wayfarers series, but I have not. So I just grabbed this one. I was very thrilled to get into this. This one is, I believe, kind of space exploration, and it's very science heavy, like biological. So really interested in that. I don't think it's quite as feel good and cozy as Chambers' other work, but I still think I'm going to enjoy it. And finally, one I picked up and read, this one is Zonia's Rainforest by Juana Martinez-Neal. And this one is, the author is a Caldecott winner, which is like a children's illustration award. So you can kind of rely on those to be pretty good for the art factor. And this one is all about Zonia, who lives near the rainforest. And pretty much every spread in this is Zonia with different animals, and I just loved that. But obviously there is something wrong in the rainforest, and we know, of course, it's the rainforest is being destroyed. And so I really enjoyed this at the back here, so you may not be able to see. So Zonia is, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it right, the Ashkanian people are Zonia's tribe, and that's a real tribe in Peru, and they are the largest indigenous group living in Peruvian Amazon River Basin. So this has facts all about that tribe. And then, hi Ripley, and then over here they have translated the whole book into the tribe's language. So I thought that was really cool. And then we have facts about the threats to the Amazon, and then a depiction of and description of all of the animals that we saw that live in the Amazon. So I really liked that ending. I think obviously that's the kind of thing that I have looked for in all of these picture books that I pick up, is kind of a little bit more true information that they provide beyond just being a cute book. I do like just cute books. So really enjoyed this one. This was a beautiful book with some great information. So I think that's it for all of the stuff I have to talk about. In terms of what I'm going to read tomorrow, I've got my couple of new things I've already mentioned. So The Rain Heron by Robbie Arnott, I wanted to get into this week and I just didn't quite, but I was able to renew it. So I wasn't expecting to be able to do that. So I'm going to get into it tomorrow. Same thing with Soul Lanterns. I plan to get that started tomorrow as well, once I'm done with my romance reading project. So big old pile of books. So then in terms of the week, I had a really great week. It was a little bit tiring in terms of work. It was stressful as always. I had one really long day, I think like a 13-14 hour day that just wore me out early in the week. And then the end of the week, so yesterday, my teammates, I have 2 teammates, and I actually went out for a happy hour. So it was my first time actually being inside or sitting down inside a restaurant slash bar, and it felt very weird. It definitely felt very out of place, but it was fine. Like, everything was okay. And we socially distanced and everything. So that was really fun. It's been a long time since we've been able to get together regularly, and obviously we're not working in our office, we're working remotely. So yeah, we haven't been able to get together and gripe about all our problems with work. So other than that, I think, I guess related, the situation in our area with the virus is not so great. So I talked about last week how we were going back to a mask mandate. Well, our city council decided to pull a vote to overturn that. So they did do that. They voted to overturn it. And then the county executive came back and said, it doesn't matter what you voted, it still stands. So quite the drama here, and it sounds like, I think I saw it last night, that that now is going to go up to a federal court because of the conflict to do with that. So I don't know what's going on. It's not great. It's really not great, and it's, embarrassing to live here and see this ridiculousness going on. So more personally and more positively, I think, adding to the tiredness of my week, I had to stain my deck because I live in like a townhouse style condo, and so there's an association that manages the property and everything. The only thing I really own outside is my deck, and I had part of my deck replaced and rebuilt last year, and now it's sat long enough that it can be painted and stained. So they were supposed to come and paint with the paint matching for my building, and said they were going to be here at the end of the month. So I wanted to get it stained beforehand in case, like, I make mistakes, they could paint over it. Well, so I lived through the heat and stained my deck, and then they didn't come and paint this week. And now obviously it's storming, so it'll be at least a couple days because it really has to dry out before you can paint or stain. So I did all of it in the 90-degree heat, and it was miserable, and I could have waited till it was cooler. But with the heat and humidity, my hibiscus are doing phenomenally. They just all started blooming this week, which is great. I get to see my new hibiscus that I planted. I mentioned maybe a month ago, or a month and a half. I got a Holy Grail hibiscus. And so because it's coming from a greenhouse, I looked specifically for the one that was the farthest from actually blooming, so it would kind of match up with my current ones. I have 2 existing ones in my side yard, and so they all started pretty close to the same time. It was maybe a few days before the other 2, but turned out absolutely perfect, and the color match is pretty solid. So I will insert a picture or a clip of the 2 types of hibiscus that I have. And I think the new one is very low to the ground, but I think it's going to grow pretty tall like the other ones are. They're a couple feet tall each year, and I have to trim them back. So those are looking really lovely and making me very happy. What else? I think other than that, it's been all cat stuff this week. So more stressful stuff. I was waiting last week for results from blood work that my foster went in for, and we did get the blood work back. And his last previous blood work, he had been kind of right on the line below stage 4 of renal disease, and that's pretty much very close to organ failure. So he hasn't gone up as significantly as I was kind of expecting based on his trajectory. So the changes we made last time around seem to have helped slow things down. So that's good. But we did hear back, it has gone up. So he's right, still very much on the line of stage 4. And so what that has meant now, we have changed things to add additional fluids every day now. So much more care. At the appointment, they had added something for his nose twice a day, and now we're doing fluids every day instead of every other day. So it's a lot. And then he went in yesterday and was at the vet all day for a urinalysis. I don't know what the results are of that yet, but it sounds like I've got now another appointment scheduled for 2 weeks away from now, and he's going to go in and get his blood work checked again, and so we're going to go over everything there. So it sounds like that time, the previous time I was not able to go in with the vet. It sounds like this time in a couple weeks I will actually be going in and with him and meeting with the vet for the first time. So we're going to go over everything. So that should be good. I mean, it sounds like they have ideas for how to slow things down and kind of improve things for him. So that really is very positive, I think. And unfortunately, yeah, he is heading toward the final stage, and so there's not much we can do about that other than make him comfortable and try to help him feel as well as he can. So it sounds like we've got good plans for that. In much more positive news with my own cats, Gumbo, my semi-feral cat, has been just still making amazing progress. We've had a couple of times here where she will actually walk toward me and walk up to me and be okay with me reaching down and petting her, which is totally new. She's been kind of face rubbing into my hand when I'm there petting her, which is also totally new. So I haven't gotten any clips because she gets very nervous if I'm coming toward her holding something. So if I'm holding my phone or my camera, she's not into it. But we're getting really good progress, and I think she's still making leaps and bounds with how friendly she is. We even got to the point where so I had previously been trying to get her to where I could maybe pick her up, and so I've started moving toward that. If she's allowing me to touch her and kind of getting into it, I get my hand under her and kind of just to the point where there's pressure, and she has been handling that really well. She gets a little bit spooked, but as long as I, release, she doesn't run away, and that's really great. That's very good progress. So I think she may get to the point where I can actually pick her up without scruffing her. And so I guess that's another big point that has been going really well. She's always been very skittish about hands being near her neck, because at animal control, I mean, they are very good. Animal control has since been taken over by the shelter that I actually foster for, and they were very good before, but now they're completely no kill. So she was being handled and was there for several months by them scruffing her, and that was it, because she was not manageable. So they were doing the best they could with what they had, and they obviously don't have the resources to put in the kind of time that I've put in over the past year and a half with her to get her to where they could do anything with her. And I don't think in that setting with a stressful environment she would have been able to get there regardless. But it meant she was very terrified if you got a hand near her neck anytime at all. She would just run away and hide. So she is not even flinching now when I try to pet her. I can fully pet, top of her head all the way down her back and have no problems whatsoever. So that is really great progress. So I'm very excited about that. So I think other than that, I think that's about it. I don't have any good recommendations this week, I don't think. None that I can recall. In terms of videos, one thing I'm super duper into, I got into hop tea. The brand is Hop Lark, and they have hop tea and hop water. And I don't like the hop water as much. I tried one kind, so that may not be representative, but I really like the hop teas, especially the green tea and the chamomile tea. And it reminds me so much of at Guinness in Dublin, there is this like sensory tasting experience you can do, and they take you into like a dark room, and then they take you into a room with vapor, and it's a hops vapor. And so like when you're drinking a Guinness, it's super duper heavy, and in this room, you're getting the vapor, and it is so light and refreshing with the hop smell. And this hops tea, specifically the chamomile, is exactly like that experience to me, and I just love it. So last night I got home and I had grabbed a 6-pack when I went to get my food for the weekend, and it was literally to the point where, you know, I was at the fridge like thinking about grabbing a beer, and I decided to grab the hop tea. And it's not alcoholic or anything, but it was like, I'm just enjoying drinking it so much that it's really refreshing, and it's a 0-calorie like seltzer tea basically. So really, really enjoying that stuff. And I think that is really it for me for today. How's everybody's reading going this weekend? Hopefully your week was not as busy and crazy as mine and my area. Yeah, I guess that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching. The original hibiscus. I'm pretty sure it's just a tropical hibiscus. And then my Holy Grail hibiscus, the new one, has just started blooming as well. And it looks really lovely.